design at College of Fine Arts, Uni of New South Wales in Paddington. College of Fine Arts was a really multidisciplinary course, so there was graphics, there was architecture, as well as industrial design. You know, when I was studying design back then, and design wasn't about funky graphics and crazy stuff that you see today that's called design. It's actually art, if you think about it. I mean, I'm sure this is a debate that's hot all over the world right now, but when a client says they want something dynamic from you, well, then they're really asking for art. When a client says, I want something that works really well, then yeah, they're talking about design. So I think the new design, which is Designs Kinky and Refill magazine and stuff, that's actually art. And when I graduated, which was 96 or something like that, the web was really big. So it was what they called .com boom. And the company that I did an internship for specialized in web design. They wanted to go from multimedia to web design. So I became one of the first sort of web designers around in Sydney, I suppose, at the time. And made a lot of money at that time. Web design was really the hot thing. People charged, like Microsoft got charged $1 million back then to design a website for them. After running my own business for a few years, I just had a feeling that maybe I could go back and learn a bit more from the industry. I was the head of design of their interactive division. So basically, I mean, if you put two and two together, you can figure out that Animal Logic has a lot of very big clients. Why not set up an interactive division to do some websites for those clients? Worked on Mystery Clock, which was a site for Alex Proyas, who did The Crow, Dark City, Garage Days and iRobot. I mean, a lot of that is really, I found it really interesting working in Animal because a lot of it is hush-hush. You can imagine working in Fox Studios like that. If you saw you know, R2-D2 sticking out the back of a Star Wars spaceship and took a photo of it and then put it up online, you could get sued for that. So a lot of it was really hush-hush. We weren't allowed to talk to other people about what they were doing. You'd hear the Star Wars music playing all the time and you'd try to get a look into the buildings, and it was very hard to try to find out what was happening. So it was fun at the same time, it was very frustrating. Just you never really got to know much about movies or anything because everything was under so much secrecy. For many years we were trying to get Australian designers to be inspired by living and working in Australia. So instead of looking overseas at inspiration and trying to copy the latest styles from, say, Germany or Switzerland or whatever, we were trying to say, well, stop copying. Start being inspired by, look outside, look at the weather, look at the animals, look at the environment, and start putting that into our work instead. And let's be proud of being Australian, you know, and get out there. So that's how the site came about. Really, just trying to change the mindset of Australian designers and get them to be really proud of being Australian and put it into their work. And I think it's worked. And I think I don't think the site really needs to exist anymore. A lot of people are taking inspiration from their backyards. So yeah, but that's how it started. So I mean, I think a lot of people have been using Australia in a lot of international work lately in the last, you know, five or so years. Even Hollywood film coming out, setting up Fox here is like, yeah, sure, cheaper staff, but at the same time it's giving us exposure as well. Okay, I'll try to not be inspired by others as much as my history and my past. So I find inspiration from my mum, my family, my grandma, my mum's photo albums, stuff like that. It's a tough one to answer. I like a lot of old furniture and Eames stuff, and I like a lot of architecture, but I wouldn't say I have a favourite designer. I don't like the, this is going to sound a bit cliche, but I don't really like the tall poppy syndrome, that when an Australian gets really famous, then the rest of Australia tends to look down on them. I don't like that. My goal is to have as much lifestyle as possible.
and to have as least bad times as possible. I'd probably be Astro Boy, yeah. Yeah, I like Astro Boy, he's good.